DPS doesn't have a. Because you say you're meeting with Dave Joe.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Okay. Well, although my.
I always feel like I'm going to be tape recorded under the table.
Yeah.
Oh, it's long.
Well, if need be, you can use my office.
I went hiking finally.
I'm right 500 East Court.
Well, and, I mean, I'm still a bar member, so I can use that.
I went to Red Rock.
Space for free.
Okay.
That was
So,
incredible.
I guess I have a bar member too. Against my better judgment, but I let it lapse.
That's a lot for an Iowan.
I needed the criminal jury instructions for appealing billing.
Just the outside of the sphere. Like,
Which is another thing that hauks me off. That you have these uniform jury instructions that the
well,
court
hopefully it's still like a
has
warm
all but
October
said
too
are
that brings like a pool
good.
into play. You know.
Let me know where you guys are staying.
You as a member of the public
need to confirm
can't just get them for free. Right?
Tonight, Daryl, Nancy,
Yeah.
and Jeff
Over the
are
years, I
planning to talk
complained
about
to
we're
justices
looking at
about that.
staying
There's a lot of
across the street
county
from
attorneys
the
don't
maybe like the Encore or
nobody wanted
maybe
to
right
go.
after the Venetian.
We might stay there.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's up to her.
Okay. Well, we're gonna look at it tonight. So have you stayed there before?
The Venetian Plaza, I wasn't sure we stayed. Is that the one the tower connected to?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, all these things to figure out.
You guys ready?
It's funny.
Let's go.
Let's
Yeah,
do it.
let's do it.
Well, welcome everyone. On behalf of the all the commissioners, Tina, and the entire IRGC staff, I want to welcome you to our July commission meeting here at beautiful Prairie Meadows. First thing on the agenda would be to approve our agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Pick either one. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I also need a motion to approve the minutes from our June 13th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. As you can tell, Julie is joining us remotely. I talked to her last week, and Julie Andrews is the most positive person in the whole world, but boy, they have just been absolutely beat up there by the rains and the flooding. Julie, just tell, are there any boats back on the lake now, or is it still a boatless Lake Okoboji?
Well, slowly but surely we are putting Humpty Dumpty back together again up here. We are, last time I looked, have fallen under the 1 foot mark for how much we have to drop in order for the no wake restriction to be lifted. So, we're cleaning up. Hey, you know what? It's not over. We're not done, and we'll be ready before you know it.
Yeah, great. No, thinking about you and hoping for the best up there. So, Michelle, glad to be here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, commissioners, Tina, and staff. On behalf of our over 1,000 employees here at Prairie Meadows, I'd like to welcome you to our facility today. Some things you may notice when you walk through our property, our carpet project that's been underway for several months is about 90% completed. We anticipate that project being fully wrapped up by the 1st of September. We also have new chairs out there on our gaming floor that we're receiving lots of positive feedback from our guests. We have up on level 4, the Daily Double Deli concession stand's been around for pretty much since the inception of Prairie Meadows, got a bit of a remodel, and we have now opened it up to the east side of the clubhouse. So what that means is for our guests who are enjoying live racing in the terraces, they have easier access to different concession options up there. The other thing I want to point out is outside. As you walk into our main entrance, we used to have that fountain there that greeted our guests, and that has been transitioned over to a multi-tier planter. It kind of echoes the one that we have at our south entrance. So those are some different things that have been happening here both within and outside of the building over the past several months. Last week, we had all sorts of celebrations happening here. We celebrated Independence Day on July 3rd and hosted over 15,000 guests on that day who came out to enjoy the festivities and all the fun that we had planned out here at Prairie Meadows for them. And then we followed that up on Friday and Saturday night with our Festival of Racing. And so we hosted nearly 19,000 people who came out to see and enjoy the races. So our TV department did an exceptional job on very short notice. They put together a 1-minute kind of highlight reel that will spotlight some of the fun activities that took place out here during the past week. So if you'll indulge me, Ryan is going to key up the video. some of that footage was shot with a new drone that we have here at Prairie Meadows that we're very excited that we are planning on using to help enhance our racing footage and coverage that we have here on property. So we're looking forward to hosting you this evening, and I want to invite everyone to stay for live racing tonight. First post is 4 o'clock, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Told Michelle it's much, much more enjoyable to look at her and listen to her than the other option, so it was great. So thank you very much. All right, moving on with our agenda. Tina, do you have some announcements?
Yes, the next commission meeting will be August 29th at Riverside. The submission due date for those for that meeting is August 15th. There is no meeting in September, and then the October 3rd meeting will be held at Isle Capri in Bettendorf.
Wonderful. I do believe we have somebody here from Casino Queen, and we'd like to get an update on the remodel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Commissioners, Administrator, my name's Bill Vandersand. I'm General Counsel for the Queen Casino and Entertainment. I have Robin Corbeil with me, General Manager of the property. Updates, since I was here last in April of 23, we've increased the footprint of the casino, of the structure that we're adding on to the Visitor Center. We have eliminated the drive-in structure underneath what we presented to you from when I was here last. I understand Robin got updated footprints and schematics to you in December, and that's still in place. Developments, since I was here last, the budget's increased from $12 million to $17 million. We've not started the project yet, as we had previously projected starting December, January of 24. We have made, of recent, we've made some significant developments. We've completed the schematic drawings, that was in April. We completed design development at the end of May, and we anticipate we'll have the construction documents done, probably substantially complete in mid-August. We got a building permit April 19th from the City of Marquette, and we hit a snag. The snag we hit was the floodplain review from the Department of Natural Resources. We had reached out to them originally in September of 2023, and the message we got was that they don't regulate 500-year floodplains, and they provided a diagram of the flood zones, and our project was fully within the 500-year. However, when we got the city building permit this past April, they weren't as sure. They asked us to reach back to DNR. We did so the same day in April, and later received an elevation map as opposed to a flood zone map that shows part of where we want to build the structure is in the 100-year floodplain that they do regulate. So that's been a slowdown. We've asked that it be expedited. Right now, their projection is they'll finish that review in August. We know that just so we build the lowest level at 631 feet above river stage or higher, that it should pass, and that is in our design development to do that. But that's the status of that. So we had hoped to have shovel and ground by now, but we don't. We'll be waiting. We can go very quickly after floodplain review's complete. So far to date, we've spent a little over $800,000 on design, architects, and preparation, including we've ordered the pre-manufactured steel building, or made a deposit on it. So that's kind of the status of construction. We'll need about 8 to 8.5 months, barring anything unforeseen, to finish once we get shovel in the ground.
Any questions from the commissioners?
The project has obviously drastically changed from the beginning of the scope, kind of the middle, and now where we're at. Will you guys have full renderings so we can actually see what this is going to be prior to your August review?
I will do my best to make sure we can get that, and we'll forward to the administrator if that's.
I would definitely appreciate that, and if you have some time, maybe if Chair Olson and I could meet with you just to discuss some of these things, because again, from what you started with to where we're at today is kind of two different projects. I want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Of course.
I guess this question would be for Tina. We have not received contracts, correct? For
Correct.
the contractors?
Correct.
So will those be forthcoming as well?
I provided a draft of the proposed general contractor agreement to the administrator about a week ago. I have that in final form, can sign it. I know there's still some discussion about whether it needs to go through an RTA process. It's with Queen Casino as opposed to the operating licensee. So I think that's still an open topic. I'd had a discussion with the prior administrator last fall, but I think we need some more discussion about whether your RTA applies.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, and would be willing to hear an argument to the contrary, but I think that is something that we would need to approve before you can move forward on that kind of a contract. I mean, whether it's with the corporate entity or not, it's still, I think, my reading of the rules, and I think our understanding is that that's something we would need to have on the agenda and approve before you move forward on that. And I think, given how much this project has changed over the years, we need to be satisfied that this is within the broad expectations that the commission has for the kind of amenities that a licensee is going to have. And so that's something that we definitely need to have brought before us, I think.
Understood. I'll be back in August, definitely.
On that note, I'm not sure, we have not, I mean, we've always approved contracts on major construction or remodels, at least since I've been on the commission.
To the best of my recollection, that's accurate.
All right, so I think no matter how it's run, I think we need to, I agree with Commissioner Ostergren, and I think we need to have that in front of us.
Understood, thank you.
And that'll give time, if I could, Chair, for obviously the floodplain issue is something that's important to get worked out. And I can sympathize with the back and forth with DNR, but just so you and other licensees understand, we're not in a position to ask for anything to be expedited with DNR. I know there have been some requests made to staff, and that's not something that we can. It's not appropriate for us to do that, and not something that we would do. But it sounds like this is going to slip enough that should get resolved in time. But we're not going to ask another state agency to expedite their important engineering work on something like this.
Understood.
Would it be fair then for us to look at both items 5 and 6, and that we would go ahead and delay those until our August meeting? Because both of them, it's going to be difficult for us to approve the First Amendment until we understand the whole project. Or, Tina, how would you look at that?
Certainly, number 5 doesn't require any action. It's
No.
just an update. Number 6, I thought I saw maybe Ed in the audience. Is he here as well? I don't know if he
I don't
has any.
believe he is.
Oh, okay. I'm mistaken then. And maybe that's the question with regard to, I know the item number 6 and the restated lease. I think there were some questions with regard to the timeline there, and the part of the terms required a general contractor on site and work starting as of August 1st. And I think based on what we're hearing today, maybe there's some concern whether or not those terms can be met at this point in time.
There is the existing lease, there is an August 1st outside date for completion is proposed in the amendment, and with the DNR issue that, I'm sorry, to start the project, and that would be dependent on DNR accelerating faster than what they're telling us. I have started discussions with the landlord about extending that date. They've been very amicable to moving dates as had been needed. We set that August 1st date before this issue with DNR came up in the amendment.
And so to be clear, what's before the commission then is a term sheet of proposed terms. It's not a signed deal, obviously, correct?
Correct.
And so then I guess the question is, if the commission is comfortable in approving something with those terms not nailed out or nailed down.
Well, I think it's more than that. I mean, it's approving something that we know can't be fulfilled, right? Because if it calls for commencement of the project by August 1, and you're not going to have the permits to do that, and we haven't seen a contract to approve, I mean, I think from my perspective, I'm a no vote, or this can be tabled on that. So,
I would also prefer it be tabled just because it specifically names the general contractor. So we're approving a lease before we've approved the contractor in essence.
Personal opinion, I'd like to table this.
Okay. Would I need a motion to table it?
I move to table item 6 until our next meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. We can address it at our August meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have contracts for approval. Riverside Casino.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Tina and staff. Damon John, General Manager, Riverside Casino and Golf Resort. I have one contract today for approval. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Damon?
I move we approve the contract.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Dubuque Racing Association.
Good afternoon, staff and commissioners. Alex Sixon, President and CEO, Q Casino and Resort and DRA. We have a number of contracts before you, but one to highlight is focused on a loan or a facilitation agreement from Dubuque Initiatives. We're going to be conducting a study to look at a sports complex on Schmidt Island. And so they're going to help us by financing this study, and hopefully in the future maybe a participant if we were able to move forward with any type of facility. But happy to answer any questions that you may have about this or any of the other contracts.
Questions?
I should probably break them up. I'll move to approve the request for approval of the facilitation agreement.
I have a motion on the request to approve the facilitation agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Now looking at the contracts.
I move to approve the contracts as presented.
I would second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Catfish Bend.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Rob Higgins, General Manager, Catfish Bend Casino. We have 2 contracts for your approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I would move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you. Prairie Meadows.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Tina and staff. Michelle Wilkie, Executive Vice President for Prairie Meadows. And before you, I have 8 contracts for approval today. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Motion to approve the contracts.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Review of Horseman's financial audits, starting with HBPA and the Iowa HBA Benevolent Trust.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. John Moss, Executive Director for the Iowa HBPA. I have with me Joe Kelly, he's Vice President for the Iowa HBPA. Here to present to you our audit for 2023, and I believe we presented you with a clean audit for this past year. We're very happy with things currently are. Also want to give, I want to highlight once again Michelle and her team for doing that wonderful video that you saw early on. But again, 35 years here at Prairie Meadows. 35 years of having almost continuous horse racing of all multiple breeds. It's a very big year for us. We're happy to be part of this. We're literally looking forward to their gala that they're having later on this year, celebrating the 35th anniversary. It's a major accomplishment, being one of the first casinos and one of the first Russinos in the entire United States. So again, we're very happy to be here, very happy that everything is going quite well. A couple of highlights very quickly in regards to where we're at for this year, and one of the most important components that we don't typically talk about. Usually I'm up here pounding the table, as it were, about HISA. I won't do that today, although there's a bunch of things we could talk about regarding that. I'm going to talk about some of the one component that gets left out of even our name a lot of times, the Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association, but it's that benevolence component. And we've really tried to emphasize that much more than we have in the past due to the fact that we've had more funds, as you are aware. And some of those things have started to come across. We began last year or 2 years ago, actually Vice President Joe Kelly here actually helped us find it. We started bringing back a mobile dental clinic. It's called Dental Connections. We actually have them lined up to come back onto the backside, service grooms, trainers, anybody else that come back there that needs that little bit of assistance. We found that even though we used to reimburse those individuals once they went to a dentist to get dental type work, having it available on the backside has really been, we've seen more people come and utilize the services than we ever have in the past. And so with that concept, we've actually started to increase that. So this year, in fact, we had a mobile vision unit come out. We saw 22 people in one day. Out of the 22 that came and got their eyes checked, 20 of them actually needed some type of corrective vision. So again, help cover for their prescription costs, cover for the doctor to come out, get them looked at. We're going to increase that. We only had them come out once this year just as a trial run to see if that's something that's going to work out well. Obviously, the need and the desire is there. Again, looking towards the future, I think we're going to reach out. There's a couple of mobile clinic applications as well. Even though we have a fabulous relationship with Unity Point, that's across the street here. You may not know this, but there's a Unity Point clinic that's less than half a mile away. And the horsemen are able to go utilize their walk-in clinic. We still think there's a need there where we can bring on a mobile type unit that can go in, get typical health checkup things done, check for their blood pressure, any other sorts of issues that these guys might skip just because they don't have that outreach or that access to medical care. Even though we provide it and we help pay for it, we have those relationships. Bringing it in on the backside is a major component of what we do. So we're really looking forward to being able to do that and bring that to the horsemen for next year. But again, we're really happy with how that has transpired and how those things have been moving forward. Another thing that we did begin this year is we actually have a food pantry that's right outside of the HBPA office. With that food pantry, we've also worked with bringing in clothing for the backside workers as well. Utilization of that has been fantastic. Worked with a local nonprofit. We kind of started it last year. It was once a week delivery with St. Vincent de Paul. This year we're working directly with Caring Hands. This is in Altoona, right here, based 501c3. And they're providing food and clothing on a Monday through Friday basis. They actually bring this every day during those 5 days a week, provide it to the grooms. It's getting utilized fantastically. We, again, weren't sure how that was going to play out, but it's getting used quite a bit. We're very happy with the results of how this is all playing out. Other than that, of course, like I said, big news in terms of the protective part. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals saying that they don't believe HISA is constitutional anymore. So we're continuing down that path, and we've got some more steps that we're going to continue to do there. There is one other component. This is a little bit different. While we celebrate fireworks this year, our neighbors across the street here wanted to actually do fireworks much more often than your typical round of fireworks. And so Prairie Meadows and ourselves have been trying to work with the city of Altoona to lessen or reduce the number of times that they were trying to do. They wanted to launch fireworks 5 Saturdays in a row here, and that was going to be incredibly detrimental to our horses. So trying to work through some of those issues, but again, Prairie Meadows and ourselves trying to get that resolved. So something to take into effect if you're walking around the backside and you're thinking about those types of things. you know, fireworks and horses don't typically go well together. Actually, they don't go together at all. So. But overall, we're very happy with where everything is going, and we're just really happy about this 35th year and this gala that's coming up. And I will finish off by saying, and I believe you all received it, here in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tomorrow, is the National HBPA Summer Convention. We're hosting horsemen from all across the United States are coming here. Our national election actually has been rotated. We've started kind of making it a rotation. They like to come into Iowa for the national election, but this year they decided to incorporate the entire convention. So we've dedicated 4 days to this. Anywhere from 125 to 100 participants from around the country coming here, having a multitude of different panels, anything from computer robotic wagering to racehorse aftercare, and any and everything in between that you could possibly think of. Yes, yes will be on the docket too. But nonetheless, a lot of discussions, a lot of different points. You're very much welcome to attend, and we hope that you're able to participate. So thank you with that. Turn it over to questions that you may have regarding the audit.
Any questions? Thank you.
Hearing that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Iowa Quarter Horse Racing Enterprises.
Hi, everybody. It's always great to be here. I just want to give you an update of kind of where we're at with quarter horse racing at Prairie Meadows. And as you know, it's something I take a lot of pride in trying to continue to grow quarter horse racing at Prairie Meadows. Well, we just saw fireworks, and I think there's a little bit of fireworks going on in quarter horse racing right this year. We have started out breaking a new record in our first futurity, the Prairie Meadows Gold Futurity, where it's an open futurity for all horses around the country. We had 65 horses enter the race. We had over 70 that made payments, 65 entered from all over the country. We had 7 trials that night. That's a new record looking forward. And that was the first time our purse exceeded $200,000 in that. It was $212,000. Looking forward to the other large futurity, the Valley Junction at the end of the year. Right now, we have 73 horses that have continued to make their payments from all over the country. Should those 73 continue to pay, and my guess is we're going to get a few that late pay, there's a good chance that this year we could be over a $300,000 futurity for the very first time. And this money, most of it comes from the horsemen entering themselves. They're paying $2,500 to run in that race and to come from all over the country to run at Prairie Meadows. So we're excited. The Bank of America Challenge Championship Futurity, about 45 horses right now. So between the 3 of those, it's showing about a 20% increase in horses from around the country coming to run in futurities at Prairie Meadows. So it's pretty exciting. That said, right now, we are averaging approximately 7.37 horses per race, starters per race, after last night's races. So last year we ended up just a little bit over 7, the year before 6.5. So we're continuing to grow. It's not where we want to be yet, but we're working hard at it. And one thing that we have grown on also is foaling in Iowa. This year we had a 12% increase in Iowa foals. And looking to the future, we're really excited because we were able to get the rule change, as you're aware of, with the Ag Department and with legislative action that is now going to allow mares to come here till the end of January to register, to get inspected, foal their babies, and make them an Iowa bred. And the reason that's so important is the biggest sale of the year is the Heritage Place Winter Mix Sale in Oklahoma. That sale has a lot of fabulous mares. I've talked to every horseman that I know that goes there, that buys mares, that comes races at Prairie Meadows. Cole Moorhead, who owns the largest foaling farm with the 2 number 1 and 2 stallions in the country, he's already told me he's going to bring at least 5 or 6 mares to Iowa next year. He's never foaled any himself here before. And we're going to see a lot of other people doing that exact same thing. So it's a great way to grow Iowa breeding and foals again in Iowa. So we look forward to that. We also, if you looked at our audit, you notice that we were about, I think, 12,000 shy of spending all of our money from last year. Well, we didn't want that money to go to waste, So we hired our own independent marketing company this year called Flyover Fix. And what we are doing with them is meeting with Prairie Meadows, meeting with them in particular to try to continue to do the things that are important to all horsemen and also to Prairie Meadows. One, increase ownership. Two, increase the new trainers and owners and their satisfaction of coming to Prairie Meadows. You know, it's good to get them here, but we want them to be happy when they leave, and they want them to want to come back again next year. Continue to increase starters per race and the number of races we have, and of course, increase attendance here at Prairie Meadows. And with that said, then increase the handle. I don't know if you looked at or if you were told about our handle last year, but it just shows the importance of us getting more horses here, getting more races, getting more starters per race, because in 2022, our handle on and off track was just under $5 million. Last year, because of the increase in everything we did with quarter horses, the quarter horse handle was just under $7 million. So we increased 40% from 2022 to 2023. And, you know, that's important for everybody involved, everybody around the country seeing horse racing at Prairie Meadows, quarter horse racing growing, continuing to grow. So we're seeing fireworks in the quarter horse racing industry as well. And we're looking forward to the future. And we want to thank you for everything. We also want to thank you for the opportunity to work with Brian Arroco at Prairie Meadows, him being a part of the horse racing at Prairie Meadows. To have him here is a great benefit to us, and then to work directly with you guys at the same time. Thank you very, very much. This is Troy Mulford, our treasurer, and she'll take any questions you have on our audit.
Any questions?
Great.
Looked great, Tom. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Iowa Harness Racing Association.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Oh, I got some helpers there. They just showed up. My name is Jeff Carey. I'm with the Iowa Harness Horse Association. I'm the president. We have Dwayne Rowland, Corey Larson, and Jim Reese, who are directors, and they came to support me. And we give you our audit for your review. Do you have any questions about that? Okay, I'll give you an overview of our season so far. This year, we're racing at 8 different fairgrounds across the state. We have 37 race dates of racing. We had 259 horses paid in for our Colt Stakes this year, which is kind of about what we usually run. And we have 230 members in our association. And I just talked to Department of Ag. We inspected 240 live foals this spring. And we started a YouTube channel. I think this is our 3rd year. And this year, our first meet had 850 hits on it. And last year, we had one day that had 1,200 hits. So we're really pleased with that. That's really give us a good pump. So any guys got anything to add?
I think you hit all the...
Okay. You guys got any questions for us?
Any questions for Jeff?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate the enthusiasm on all 3 groups. They're all excited about it, so that's good and fantastic. That's what we need for racing to be successful. So, well, now we got to go to the bad side, so we got to go through some hearings at this point in time. Tina?
On to hearings and stipulated agreements. The first matter involves Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino, which is duly licensed as a racetrack enclosure in Altoona, Iowa. This one is broken up into 3 different counts. Count 1, pursuant to the process established by the Commission in the resolution for Iowa Voluntary Self-Exclusion Program, licensees are required to upload and download information to and from the Iowa Racing and Gaming Commission's self-exclusion system at least once every 7 calendar days. In this situation, on March 1st, 2023, Prairie Meadows downloaded and updated information as required from the self-exclusion database. As such, the next download should have been on or before March 8th. However, it was not completed until March 9th. Count 2 in this matter, on March 4th, 2023, an 18-year-old male was observed at the second floor main casino entrance. He was requested identification and denied entry. He then exited the facility and returned to a vehicle with 2 adult companions where he changed clothes. He then returned to the casino and was again denied entry by a security officer, at which time he returned to his vehicle and remained in the vehicle until his adult companions returned to the vehicle and left a few hours later. On March 5th, the next day, Prairie Meadows conducted a review of their license plate verification system and determined that the vehicle carrying the minor came into Prairie Meadows property on March 4th, 2023, and upon surveillance review, it was determined that the same individual had entered with 2 adult companions, approached the main casino entrance, and was not ID'd, and therefore entered the gaming floor unchallenged. After gaining access to the casino floor, he walked around and was observed gambling at 3 different slot machines and was observed by a number of other employees. At 10:57, he walked near the main casino entrance, and at which time the security officer requested his identification. He provided his actual identification, which showed he was under 21 years of age, and at that time he was then told to leave the casino. In total, he was on the casino floor 50 minutes unchallenged and gambled at least 3 slot machines. On count 3, on April 15th, 2023, an 18-year-old underage female and her mother approached the main casino entrance at Prairie Meadows. The security officer posted failed to request identification, which allowed her to enter the gaming floor unchallenged. She walked around the gaming floor with her mother. At one point, she is seen at a slot machine with her mother, and surveillance shows her pushing at least 1 button on the slot machine. Surveillance further showed the minor watched her mother play at another slot machine, and the minor appears to interact with the slot machine by pushing various buttons. Also, during the time on the floor, she came in close contact with other employees. She then exited the gaming floor and was approached by a security officer who requested identification, at which time it was discovered she was under 21 years of age, and she and her mother were interviewed by security and asked to leave property. She was on the gaming floor approximately 33 minutes, was unchallenged 3 different times at the turnstile, and gambled at a slot machine. Prairie Meadows acknowledges the above-mentioned facts constitute violations of Iowa Code. For these violations, Prairie Meadows agrees to pay an administrative penalty on count 1 in the amount between $5,000 to $20,000, for count 2, the amount of $20,000, and for count 3, the amount of $20,000. And I see Prairie Meadows is here to provide some more information and answer any questions.
Yep. Good afternoon. My name is Jake Hedgecock. I'm the Director of Security at Prairie Meadows. Regarding count 1, the date of download was on the 9th and not the 8th. It was approximately 8 hours overdue from when it was. It was a mistake on a calendar that was shared. Corrections for that is train more people, managers that have access to the database to perform the uploads and downloads, and put that on a shared calendar so that in the event a person is off work or calls in sick or vacation or anything that would happen, that there are more people available to perform those duties. An audit was done. There was no players that received a player's card or won a taxable jackpot or of any kind during that missed opportunity of ours. Section, you want to do one by one, or you want me to go to?
Yeah, that's.
Any questions for 1? Okay. On count 2, like was mentioned, we identified an underage person twice. We had the person denied entrance to the casino. He went, changed his clothes. He came back into another entrance. We stopped him again and denied him entrance. It was at that point in time when we used our license plate reader to do due diligence to make sure that, to see if this person had come back on property. Surveillance conducted an audit. The audit provided that he did come back on property. We shared those results with the commission, and so that allowed to that. That officer was counseled for the actions We've had over 300 hours worth of ID procedure training completed since the March of last year to December. So any questions on count 2? Count 3, the officer was disciplined for his actions for allowing the minor to come in unchallenged through the main entrance area. Again, understand the importance of minors and gambling within the casino, and did ID verification, ID training, and like I just mentioned, we'd had over 300 hours worth of training conducted since that March incident. I believe that was shortly after. So, any questions on count 3?
I have one question on count 1. We have the API. Are you able to utilize that to automate that process for the download?
We have looked into that, but according to our IT, it would not allow us to do that automatic download.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, Mr. Chair, I'll move that we accept the stipulation for count 1 in the amount of $5,000, count 2 and count 3 each $20,000. I do think, I've decided I'm going to stop ranting at licensees about the download. You know how I feel about that. Please work on your processes. I think as commissioners really don't like handing out fines for being a day late, but we also need to defend the integrity of the self-exclusion program. And so we ask licensees to really continue to improve. So maybe I just ranted there, I'm sorry. But
No, we understand. We were in full compliance with letting you know that it happened.
yeah. So I would move accordingly, Mr. Chair.
Have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Tipico.
This matter involves Tipico Iowa LLC, which is licensed to conduct advanced deposit sports wagering as a mobile operator in Iowa. This also has 2 counts. In count 1, the commission staff completed a compliance check of all licensees with regard to markets offered for the 57 Super Bowl and initially did not note any violations by Tipico Sportsbook. However, on February 14th, Tipico reported to the commission that their staff had accepted 5 wagers on markets involving interceptions by the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl, which was not listed as an approved wager to be offered. Therefore, it was not authorized by the commission. The wagers totaled $285 in handle and were all losing bets. After the event was over, Tipico voided the wagers and the customers involved received their money back. On count 2, on March 25th, 2024, Tipico offered 4 individual market wagers that involved totals for points, rebounds, and 3-point baskets for Iowa women's basketball player Caitlin Clark in the NCAA tournament. A total of 6 wagers were placed by 4 patrons, totaling $375 in handle. This is an impermissible market in Iowa. Upon discovery, Tipico Sportsbook reported to commission staff that it had accepted 6 wagers. Successful wagers were allowed to be retained by the patrons, and the patrons with losing wagers received their money back. Tipico acknowledges that the above-mentioned facts constitute violations of Iowa law. As a result of the violations, Tipico has agreed to an administrative penalty on count 1 up to $10,000 and on count 2 up to $15,000. They are here today to provide any additional information and answer questions.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Tina, staff. For the record, Sean McGinnis with Butler Snow on behalf of Tipico. And with me is Brian Schroeder, who's Senior Vice President for Compliance and Legal for Tipico. I'll turn it over to Brian to sort of address some things for you.
Morning, Commissioners, Administrator, and staff. Tipico has no objections to the facts that are read in by the Administrator. I would like, just for the record, to add a couple points in regards to the February 2023 incident. 3 remedial measures were put in place after that. Access to the back office for sports trading was modified for traders and lead traders. And then a pop-up was created when a new market was approved, and an alert was sent out when a new market was approved. The pop-up is for the person who's making that change. They have to acknowledge that they see it and have checked it. In regard to the March 2024 incident that happened, the trader disregarded the pop-up and the lead did not see the alert. So as a result of that, the remedial measures that were put in place where all new wagers need to be approved by the sportsbook compliance manager through an internal communication process. And we are in the process of modifying our software to require a manager approval when a new market was created. That software development has stopped with the announced acquisition of Tipico by MGM Resorts. So at that point, we are in the process of winding up our U.S. operations because MGM's acquired our sportsbook technology and platform. We've been working with the administrator and the staff, which has been wonderful. At this point, Tipico has no outstanding wagers in Iowa. We just have customer accounts that we need to get the customers back their money in the withdrawal process. So be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion on count 1 for 5,000 and count 2 for 15,000.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comments?
We do.
Doug Gross.
Mr. Chairman, Tina, members of the commission, Julie, again, we're all thinking about you. We understand the difficulty people have been going through up in the Iowa Great Lakes, but we know you come back strong. I'm here on behalf of the Cedar Rapids Development Group and the Lynn County Gaming Association. You may have read in press reports that the folks in Cedar Rapids are really excited about the expiration of the moratorium on gaming license. And as a result, I intend to file an application before this commission for a gaming license for Lynn County. They expect that they would like to file that application yet this month. The reason they've been working on that, as you might know, since 2021, when this commission had entered into a process because they'd indicated a desire to submit a gaming application back then. And then the legislature passed a 2-year moratorium on gaming licenses. That was ended at that point, but we've continued the process of developing that application, and that application will be prepared and ready to submit yet this month. So we just wanted to formally let you know and notify the commission that we do intend to do that, and we would be very appreciative of your consideration on that application when it arrives. Happy to take your questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Gary Thielen? Yes.
Good afternoon, commissioners and staff. My name is Gary Thielen of West Des Moines. I've been attending these meetings religiously since 2006. That year, I was floor clerk in the Iowa House for the Honorable Joe Hutter of Bettendorf, who unfortunately now is deceased. At that time, the Iowa legislature voted to give Prairie Meadows Racetrack full casino status. That created in me an interest in the gaming industry in Iowa. In attending these meetings, I expected to find evidence of graft and corruption. I was very surprised to find a very well-run and honest commission in cooperation with the Iowa Gaming Association. You can all be proud of what you have accomplished in the regulation of gambling in Iowa. Iowa has always been a big gambling state. There is no bigger gamble than being a farmer. In attending these commission meetings for 18 years, I feel like I'm going to church. I see this as the Church of the Holy Wager. I began attending these meetings when Jack Ketterer was the executive director and Brian O'Rilko was an intern. Since I am now almost 78 years old and not in the same robust health as the sexagenarian I was when I first attended these meetings, I sometimes miss a few. For that, I feel the need to go to confession. But the Church of the Holy Wager does not have a clergy. The most contentious issue facing the Commission over the years has been the expansion of gambling. I have attended many long hearings and arguments ad nausea. There were 6 studies that I can remember concerning this issue. Finally, some years ago, a previous commission decided to cap the number of state-regulated casinos at 19. That's in addition to the 4 federally regulated casinos, so we have 23 casinos in the state of only 3.2 million people. It was also determined that any new casinos would be considered only if they brought in new business and did not cannibalize business from existing casinos. This has created a problem for Lynn County and Cedar Rapids. Lynn County wants a casino and is about to make its 3rd application. Previous applications have been denied for the reasons I stated previously. One year, Lynn County casino promoters tried to do an end run around the Commission's authority by asking the state legislature to pass a special gambling law just for Lynn County. That did not pass. The first vote to approve gambling in Lynn County was in 2003. It failed. As a result, people who would have invested money in Cedar Rapids Casino looked elsewhere, like Riverside, Clinton, and Waterloo. That gives us the situation that exists today. Those Lynn County voters in 2003 listened to the wrong people and defeated the gambling measure. Now it's too late to correct that vote. I have nothing against the people of Lynn County, but they have to accept the consequences of their 2003 negative vote. I am a retired teacher. I believe in educating the young. I am old, and I'm doing my best right here, right now, to educate you, young members of this commission. I just wanted to let you know how things got to this point. I consider this speech a condensed oral history of gaming in Iowa. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Gary. All right. That's the only 2 that we have, so we'll step into administrative business. We need approval of amended DCI fees for fiscal year 2025.
Yes, it was discovered there was an error in the timing of DCI reg fees. Specifically, the first payment did not coincide with the new fiscal year, so the schedule was revised to fix that. The overall amount remains the same, but in light of that, staff again request approval of those revised fees.
Any questions by any of the commissioners?
I move to approve as presented the amended schedule.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All right, we were going to schedule some time for some discussion of the moratorium and the end of the moratorium. So Tina, do you have some information? Because I think it's important for us to understand, now the moratorium is over, we do know that there is a application that is going to be submitted. What's the responsibility of this commission and how we should move forward?
Certainly. It's a prerequisite to starting the license process for the voters of a county to indicate that they want a casino. Specifically, Iowa law requires that prior to the commission issuing a license for a casino in a particular county, the voters of that county must approve a referendum to permit gambling games in that county. If a majority of the county voters do not favor a casino, then the commission shall not issue a license. If a majority of the county voters approve a referendum, then the commission may issue a license, but is not required to do so. And then further, under current Iowa law, a referendum vote is also required every 8 years to continue gambling operations unless a county has successfully passed 2 consecutive referendum votes no less than 8 years apart. Beyond that, under Iowa law, the commission is tasked with deciding the number, the location, and the type of casino. Iowa law does not specifically spell out how or when the commission is to accept any new applications. However, if an application is received, then the commission would be obligated to act in some way, shape, or form on that application.
Sounds good.
Other questions about the process or?
No, I think it's not totally clear, but I think it gives a basic guideline of how we move forward. So any questions or comments by all the
I have a
other
couple
commissioners?
questions. I know we've talked about these things in the past when this was brought before us prior to the moratorium, but can you remind me about the referendums in Lynn County and how many they've passed and when? Do you know that?
Certainly, you're going to require me to go off memory, but I believe Gary is correct. The original referendum was in 2003. It failed. There was another one in 2013, I believe, and then the most recent one was in 2021, and those were both yeses.
Okay. And then my second question is, in the past, when additional licenses have been considered by the commission, what was the approximate timeline from point of receipt of application to decision being made?
That process has typically been in the 6 to 9 month range.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Comments?
I just, as the newest member of the commission, I'm coming into this differently than my colleagues, but, I think it's going to be important for us to be just deliberate, and I have every confidence that we will be. The licensing process, it's not a scoring rubric in the administrative code, right? We're not going to assign points to different categories or things like that. It's a very holistic review, and I think it'll be very important to get as much information as we can from the licensee, proposed licensee, the applicant, the community, listen to stakeholders, and just look at it overall as to what's in the best interest of the gaming industry, the community, the state, and whatnot. And I'm looking forward to working with everyone on that process.
Totally agree. I think it's something that we stay focused, deliberate, we make sure that we do everything in a timeline that makes a lot of sense, but that we don't rush things, but we don't drag it out. So I think well said, Ellen. Anything else? Julie, anything from you?
Nope, I concur with what everybody said. We'll be ready to go.
All right, so understanding, under our agenda, we had discussion of the expiration. We really didn't state in there our plans to develop a timeline. So I think it would be probably unfair today if we set a timeline without directing staff to look at what would be an appropriate timeline. I do think it would be appropriate on us to direct staff, though, to prepare a RFD on the market study, because that's something that we have to do. And I think we'd look at it specifically for Lynn County and statewide effects, because today, I believe the only application we're aware of is for Lynn County. Is that correct?
That's the only one that staff is aware of.
Okay. So I guess I'm going to ask for a motion for us to direct staff to prepare an RFP on market share and finalize a timeline on the process. So I think we're in control and direct the timeline on the process that we look for a Lynn County application and a decision. And with that, I would, since our next meeting is until the end of August, that's dragging it out a long, long time. So I would propose that we would schedule a virtual meeting and possibly yet this week. I don't know, is everybody's schedule? I know Friday works for me. Friday, 8:30.
I can do that.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Julie, Friday, 8:30?
That worked.
I can.
Okay. Tina, can we make that work?
We can make that work.
Okay, and at that point in time, then, we could look at a timeline and approve a timeline and get that out so the industry understands what the timeline is. Okay, so I'd need a motion to direct staff to prepare an RFP on the market study and direct them to develop a timeline that we would address on a virtual meeting on Friday.
And just so I'm clear, the RFP then starts the procurement process where we pick a vendor
Yep,
to do that
just
project.
starts the process, sees if there's anyone interested in doing the market study, and starts the process. We still have to, sometime down the road, would have to select which company we would want to do that.
Okay, got it.
But that is one thing I think that's part of the process that needs to be started.
So move.
Have a motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we will set up the meeting, and that'll be a virtual meeting, and that'll be something that anybody could attend virtually this coming Friday, 8:30.
We'll have it posted on the website with any instructions.
Okay, very good. All right, at this point in time, we need to do election of chair and vice chair. Do I have a motion for chair?
I would make a motion for Daryl Olson as chair.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominations?
I move that nominations close.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second.
And no nomination speeches be permitted.
Yeah, I would guess we don't need at that point in time to, all right, well, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Do I have a nomination for vice chair?
I nominate Mark Campbell.
I have a motion
And I'll second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations, Bart.
Congratulations,
Thank
sir.
you
It's a
for your
squeaker.
confidence.
Squeaker.
Yeah, we barely snuck that through. So with that, I appreciate everyone coming. Anybody is welcome to join the meeting on Friday morning, 8:30, and we'll address issues at that point in time. With that, our meeting is adjourned.